What's good, everybody? We are live back with another coaching session. Track season is back officially. Sorry. And so we got some stuff to cover. I know it's a awkward time in the day, at least for me, but I'm so busy with track season and other work stuff that this is kind of one of the only times I'm trying to be consistent, trying to show up at a time where I can get more interaction. But I figured now is better than better than never. There's a lot to go over. Track season is here, but it will be gone before we know it. So with that in mind, we have some stuff to cover. We've got some good video, some good React stuff. Uh the Grand Slam track meet was here. We'll cover that briefly. I'm trying to avoid getting demonetized with how much I share as far as professional track meets are concerned. So we'll see what I can show about that. We will have some film review from some of my clients that I'm training. It's helpful sometimes to, watching the pros is great because you know what to do, right? But oftentimes the gap from where we are to where the professionals are is a large gap. So I want to show you all some progression from some of my athletes who I've been coaching for a little while. Um, and just show you that, as we work to get to this professional form or whatever we're working towards, it will it will all come about slowly. And then we're going to end with 5 reasons why you may still be slow. These are just common reasons. I ran for um I don't know, 20 years, competed at a very high level for 20 years. I've been coaching for 10 years. Some of those have overlapped with my running career. Um, and these are the 5 most common things that I see from athletes that where they're going wrong, where they're making some big mistakes. So we've got a nice day planned. Let's go ahead and start with okay, so I mean this post from Travis Miller here. Grand Slam track is finally here and live on Peacock from Kingston. The Grand Slam track is, I believe, a Michael Johnson's track league. Very appealing for quite a few reasons. Not only being that he's Michael Johnson, but they've got some great prizes to win. And this banner right here pretty much um, took the cake as far as it's a good preview of kind of the takeaways from the meet, which, in my opinion, are Sydney McLaughlin, Laverne. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, and Gabby Thomas. Basically, they ran the show as far as I'm concerned, and there were good results all over. But again, I'm trying to avoid getting copywritten, so I'm not going to show you everything. One of the many reasons why the Grand Slam is appealing is because of this prize purse breakdown. So you may not know this, but you could have the best track runners in the world who are not the Sydney McLaughlins, the Usain Bolts, the Noah Lyles, the Sha'Carri Richardson. They don't get paid the best, and oftentimes are working a second job while they're training. And this is at the Olympic level, like the highest level you can go. So having this prize purse for the Grand Slam track meets is a huge thing. So shout out to Michael Johnson for that. Um, where if you win, you get first place is 100,000, second 50, down, right? So at 100,000, I mean, you get a couple wins under your belt, and you've made salary by doing what you love, which is running. Whereas before, maybe you get your trips paid for, but when you return home, you have nothing to show for it. And like I said, like Sydney and McCoglin and all these people, they don't have stuff to worry about. They get sponsored well enough. But for majority of track runners, that's not the case. So it's cool to see this prize purse breakdown. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I believe you have to compete in 2 events. So you'll see Sydney competed in the 400 hurdles and the open 4. Gabby competed in the 204. I think it's a combined total of points from 2 events that you compete in. Um, Let's see. And here you have, again, Sydney running the fastest women's 400-meter hurdle time in world history, and it's only April. It's the beginning of the season. She ran 52.76. So let's take a brief look at this. Make sure that that sound is off.
Sydney McLaughlin starts.
Okay, so there's Sydney in the middle of the track. Notice all these women, when they go over the hurdles, their momentum is not stop. Look, just straight over, whoop, smooth over, keeping it nice and smooth.
Down the level.
I don't want that sound on again. I'm just fast forwarding again because I'm trying to break up this algorithm. There's Sydney with a commanding lead, 49, 50, 51, 52, 76. That's incredible. That's I definitely have many athletes I'm training that are not running that fast in the open for. I thought I had it pulled up, but Sonia Richards-Ross asked Sydney, what's harder, the 400 hurdles, the open four? This is a debate that many people try to answer the question, but she might be the most qualified to answer, and her answer was the open four, because it's hard to gauge where you are on the track, what speed you should be going. So for the hurdles, she most likely is counting her steps, where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, up 1, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15. She's on 15 strides. You don't count that step that hits the ground. You count the one after it. Is she alternating? That was off of her right, and that's off of her left. She could be alternating, or she could have made a mistake in her count. I don't know. But yeah, her answer was, because you get to count in the 400 hurdles, the open four is harder. So surprising, but And here we have another great race from Salwa Nasir and Gabby Thomas. Again, Gabby's not going to win this, but because of her comeback,
So where they go first?
100, she will win the first place in the Grand Slam. There's Gabby on the inside. And they get into this backstretch that we talk about as this float phase. They don't slow down. They don't speed up. They're smart about their energy and how they use it. And the lady inside of Gabby here is running quite well. She, I believe, is the winner. Look at those arms coming home. Look at the difference in arms. Okay. Even between Gabby and this lady on the outside. Sorry, I should know your name. But look how she's swinging her arms, or what's taking her home. Gabby's a bit more. She's struggling. It's the 400. It's early in the season. Arms are tight, but she's fighting this lady next to her, and takes it for a second. So 48, 67. It's a winning time, and that's great. That was a great little recap on Grand Slam. Again, great for many reasons. Happy to see track getting some love, trying to renew the sport somehow, because it's not the most glamorous sport. People aren't lining up to really run. A lot of my people that run track are football players, right? Okay, so we have this video from the Sprint Project. This is another great channel that, if you don't follow, you should. There's a great resource. The Sprint Project on YouTube, how sprinting changes your body. You only need one per week. Yeah, I believe the guy on the left is a former Olympian, age 59. Guy on the right is 21. I forget the Olympian's name, but let's just check this out. Oh, you guys aren't seeing what I'm seeing. Sorry, hold on. Okay, here we go. Let me go ahead and do it proper this time. So there you go again. Down here, Sprint Project, great channel, great resource. I suggest you follow it. It's always good to get more research in, and difference of opinions and all kind of things. So let's see. This is what I'm saying. The guy on the left, 59. Former Olympian. Guy on the right, 21. Let's see what happens here. One second. I just want to make sure that I have. Okay. So we saw this 4-point, no blocks, 3-point, no blocks. My vote is always 3-point with no blocks. This is how actually the Noah Lyles actual speed race was closer than it was supposed to be, but we'll go over that in a different video. But that's a minor point. Let's keep watching. Just having fun a little bit, competing.
I'm over 60 years old, and if you think that sprinting is just for kids, believe me when I tell you, you are missing out on one of the greatest fountains of
know about. In 2014, a freak accident left window on crutches. A construction site in New York City wasn't following regulations, no proper barrier to build his strength and speed.
Now, I can sprint, okay? I can do it.
Online. Here, Window is racing one of the athletes for 10-meter starts where the yellow cone is placed. And if we rewind the clip, we can see that the reaction time and explosiveness that this man has at 60 years old is on a different level.
That's
also,
fact.
the guy he's racing.
That's you know, he was born like that is my best answer. And it hasn't gone after 59. Now the guy on the left could have just had a bad start, whatever, whoop-de-whoop, but
Against is not just anyone. Evan set the indoor 200-meter school record that season and runs 10.4 in the 100 meters.
21.6 is okay for high school. I mean, it's fairly good. I live in California, and it won't get you to state. Definitely not state finals, but definitely not a bad time. And 10.4 is, in my opinion, a little better than 21.6. Yeah.
For a 200-meter school record that season and runs 10.4 in the 100 meters. I've been running my training company since 2018 and grew up in New York City. I've never seen someone who can move fast and explosive like Window at his age. I'm sure most of you will agree. There's very few 60-year-olds in the world who can race a record-breaking college sprinter head-on without pulling a hamstring, much less have this kind of reaction time. When I saw Window racing these guys in New York, to be honest, it shattered my reality of what the human body can do.
Here's what I know about older sprinters. Being one of them, I suppose I'm 33, but they'll get you for 10. They'll get you for 20, you know, after that, especially when you start to have to stand up. You know, things don't go so well for us. So still impressive though, nonetheless.
Majority of the world thinks that it's normal to fall apart as we get older. And yes, time is something that we cannot escape. However, I hear so many guys in their late 20s, early 30s already joking about how they have back pain, how they don't have the same energy as in college, and how their metabolism is significantly slower. I'll be honest with you, I was starting to think that was normal until I met Window.
The thing you don't want to do, you don't want to be in a position at 65 years old where you can't do something like this, or just do something like this, or you just want to be able to jump with no pain. Then you want to do that now when you're 30 years old, 35 years old.
Here you go. Another thing that I've found among sprinters that's typically true is you know, we're poppy explosive people, right? We judge our ability to move by our ability to jump, as funny as that sounds. And we have another good video by Knees Over Toes coming up next. But if you see like Window as he's explaining his level of fitness, he much so judges it on his ability to jump with no pain. There it is in subtitles right there. That's totally a sprinter's trait. Of course, jumper's trait as well, um, obviously. But I tell people all the time, sprinting is just a series of jumps repeated very fast over and over and over. Which is why to be a good jumper, you need to be a good sprinter. Typically, good sprinters can be good jumpers. You just have to choose your strength. There is a point where when you're running 980, it's going to be quite hard to get off of the ground for a long jump. The force that's required is not in your favor. But that 10-0 range, that's where the best long jumpers live.
with no pain, then you want to do that now. When you're 30 years old, 35 years old, 40 years old, you want to do that now. And if you just do something like this once.
With that being said, my master's client is 52, I think, and he and I have incorporated a ton. Well, first of all, he's able to do plyometrics with me, which is no small feat at that age. And we do a significant amount of skipping, like we saw in Dr. Huberman's video.
A week, by the time you're 60 years old, you'll be in much better condition than 90% of all your peers.
And I'm not saying that we should all expect to be at Wendell's level, but if we can achieve a third of what he is doing, that's enough to be super fit as we get older. All it takes is consistent sprint training once per week in combination with strength training. I've seen his energy levels.
The most important part of this formula is consistent. It's a major thing that people miss, which is why we're going to cover 5 reasons why you're slow at the end of the video.
Sprint training once per week in combination with strength training. I've seen his energy levels firsthand. We filmed this video after he traveled on 30 plus hours of no sleep. He had problems with his flights, and he did a sprint workout with the 2-time NBA champion Norris Cole, and then hit the gym for strength training right after. Wendell isn't just an Olympic sprinter. He has over 30 years of coaching experience. In fact, like I mentioned before, he's the head coach of my programs. No other exercise that can push every single muscle in the body to complete exhaustion within seconds without a single piece of equipment like sprinting. At the Sprint Project, we believe that sprinting is the most powerful form of exercise in the world. Here are some of the scientific benefits.
You want to get your core right? Go sprint for 3 times a week. Give it 2 weeks. So 6 total sessions, maybe give it 3 weeks, and your core will look better than ever. That is not a promise. That is a strongly based opinion, my opinion, but give it a try. If you want strong core, if you want it just to look good, feel good, whatever, go sprint.
Benefits of sprinting. 1, burn 200 calories in just 2.5 minutes. A study by the American Physiological Society found that just 5 30-second sprints can burn up to 200 calories.
Again, that's part of the reason why your core will be right. I remember, when I was competing or doing competitive workouts, I don't know. I don't want to say I burned 2,000 calories. Maybe I did, maybe 1,600. And then if you add weights, then yeah, it's up there as far as calories that you burn.
Another paper shows that 1 single session of sprint training can increase how much calories you burn that day by 950. Simply put, those who sprint have the best bodies: lean, muscular, athletic, low body fat. They might not be the biggest person in the gym, but they can run, jump, and move without pain.
That's it. Don't let muscles fool you. Don't. I have this conversation all the time with my clients too. Like, you line up. And, you may not be a football guy, or maybe you are, but you line up next to someone who is a muscle-bound person, and automatically you assume that you're lacking or deficient in an area because you don't have the muscles that they have. But that's fool's gold. That's not what makes you fast. And then you can argue it hurts your speed, although there are muscular people that are extremely fast and extremely good at jumping, because they're so explosive. But if you can't move that weight that you have, that's hidden in the muscle, right? Muscle weighs more than fat, blah, blah, blah. If you can't if your frame, your tendons, your joints can't carry that weight, extra weight, then no good.
Fun fact, in 2020, when everything shut down, Window fell out of shape, just like many others did. Yeah, it turns out he actually is kind of human. He went from this to this in 60 days. Funny enough, the same thing happened to me. I posted a video around that same time where I show exactly how I went from this to this in 60 days using only 3 sprint workouts per week.
That's exactly what I said. Just go sprint.
And
You'll be
nothing
right.
else. I didn't even know Window at that time, and we essentially did the same thing. The fact is, we are all human, and even if we fall out of shape at some point, when you know exactly what to do, it is possible to lose body fat on command and effortlessly create the transformation you desire. 2, reduce cognitive decline. A paper by Shu Feng and colleagues 2023 found that high intensity interval training like sprinting has been shown to improve cognitive function in mice with Alzheimer's symptoms by flushing out amyloid beta, a neurotoxin, the protein that builds up in the brains of people with Alzheimer's disease. If you want to improve focus and stay sharp mentally, you should probably be sprinting. According to Tommy Wood, Department of Neuroscience, grip strength can predict your risk of dementia and Alzheimer's. An imbalance in grip strength is correlated with neurological decline. For your muscles to contract, they have to send a signal from your nervous system, and if they're not distributing that signal evenly to the left and right side of your body.
Let's think about another reason why this might happen is significantly like about blood flow. I mean, obviously you start running, I'm gonna venture and say the same is true for jogging, or running at a slower pace. I won't call it jogging. The blood flow is extremely important. Our brain operates with oxygen. Blood flow is a way to bring oxygen to the brain, to the extremities. Grip strength, again, what she covered. Look at this diagram that we're looking at right now. Look at all that red and blue. Those are veins, right, and arteries. The things that distribute blood to the body and things that take blood back to the heart, so it can pump out fresh, clean blood. Getting rid of the amyloid plaque, I believe it's called, in the brain that causes Alzheimer. Basically what plaque does is constricts your blood flow. It's like a straw that has something in it. You're not able to get your milkshake or juice or whatever, water, as well as if there's nothing inside of the straw restricting the flow of the liquid. And so the same is true for our body. The more you have blood flow, the cleaner your arteries will be. To a certain extent, obviously, there's exceptions. There's genetic defaults. There's dietary restrictions, right? Diet, sleep, exercise, all those things.
It could be a sign that the nervous system is not working efficiently, specifically if there's a 10% or more imbalance. So if you can handle a 100-pound dumbbell in one hand and a 110-pound in the other, that's a red flag. Here are 2 ways this information connects to sprinting. There's no other single bodyweight exercise that has a higher demand on the nervous system. According to science, elite sprinters apply 4 to 5 times their body weight into the ground during 0.08, 0.012 of a second for multiple repetitions.
This is exactly why it's super hard to do the long jump, let's say, as a 980, 970 sprinter, because that force can be even greater than having to get off the ground is challenging. Let's look at this form a little bit. I wish I could get that. How do I do this? Okay. This knee is coming through already. This foot is still off the ground. That means he's being active. We won't dissect that. I can't get it correctly.
0.012 of a second for multiple repetitions. A person who can maintain their ability to sprint will likely maintain a healthy neurological system. And the second way this connects to sprinting is that Window constantly coaches to work on single leg exercises almost religiously and designs programs to prevent imbalances from developing in the first place. 3.
Another great resource is the Andrew Huberman podcast with, let me see. they go over this in the podcast. Oh, that's right. Stuart McMillan. They had a great 3-hour podcast, which I reviewed their track and sprint warm up video in a different live video that I have. You can go check it out. But basically, Dr. McMillan is saying how important it is to do exercises with in the sprint position, right? So the knee, this one we can see. So in this position would be one example. This knee is behind the butt, the center of mass. This knee is in front. This is an even better one. But this knee needs to come back even further. So you're talking about split squats, you're talking about lunges, you're talking about step ups, you're talking about a lot of examples of how to train efficiently, and that's what Sprint Project is saying about Wendell. Forget his name, but the knee's not behind, and that's fine. There's multiple variations on how to do isometric training, but it's super important, especially because especially here in America, in the US, there's this large lifting culture and large, again, we touched on it a little bit, this feeling of, oh, this guy next to me is like very buff. I wonder what he can squat 415 pounds. He can do all this stuff. And it's like, 600 pounds or whatever it may be. Like, that's excellent, but that doesn't create a good sprinter. Okay.
Just to work on single leg exercises almost religiously and designs programs to prevent imbalances from developing in the first place. 3, higher bone density. In Finland, researchers examined masters athletes 10 years apart. Masters refers to athletic competitions for adults over 25. They examined the benefits of strength and sprint training
35.
on bone aging in 40 to 85-year-old male sprinters who had a history of training. They found that the group that did strength and sprint training at least twice per week had significantly higher bone density in their tibia.
I mean, bone density is great for all factors of aging, right? As you age, your bones become more brittle. With weight training, now this is true independent of whether you want to do isometric speed training or traditional barbell strength training or CrossFit or whatever. It's going to help your bone density. And as you know, like, the greatest risk of as we age is falling and breaking bones and having to go into surgery. That's not that's a common way to get into more trouble as we age. So, yeah, weightlifting and all that will help that, as well as sprinting, right? Because we know that from the Sprint Project that, well, there's 4 to 5 times the force of the body hitting into the track. So
In the middle region.
as well.
According to literature, the second largest bone in the body, the tibia's main function in the leg is to bear weight, with the medial aspect of the tibia bearing the majority of the weight load. In other words, the tibia is a very important bone for walking and moving. Sprinting counteracts the loss of strength and density in your bones. 4, increased testosterone. Literature by Ambrosi and colleagues 2021 examined the effect of high intensity. It is already known testosterone decreases by 1.6% each year. As you may already know, testosterone plays a critical role in metabolism, the reproductive system, and the cognitive health of a man. They took 30 men and had them train only 3 times per week for 1 hour. They found a 36.7 increase in testosterone from doing this type of training. In summary,
that's massive. I mean, not only is testosterone a big key factor, but serotonin, dopamine, all these neurochemicals that, especially with us, as we have a society that is largely on some sort of medication for mental imbalances, I'll call it. A high intensity workout or a workout period, you got to wonder how much it can help and what it can do for the person who is struggling.
High intensity interval training such as sprinting boost testosterone levels, which is especially important for men over 30. 5, boost human growth hormone. Sprinting naturally increases your body's production of HGH, a key hormone responsible for muscle growth, fat burning, and recovery. This paper examined the growth hormone response to
And HGH is a supplement or a supplement. It's a substance that people will take for better it's illegal to take exogenously, but you don't need to do that. You can produce it yourself by sprinting and training. Of course, when you take it exogenously, you're going to boost your levels of testosterone through the roof, right? It is illegal to take like that. But you can get the large benefits of it legally by sprinting. And if you're not competing, and you have doctor's recommendations, do as you see fit. But if you are competing, make sure you stay away from any exogenous hormones or replacement therapy or anything like that.
Treadmill sprinting in sprint and endurance trained athletes. Each participant did a 30-second maximal sprint on a non-motorized treadmill after a sub-maximal warm-up. GH levels were significantly higher in the sprint trained athletes than in the endurance one.
Yeah, I don't know this for sure, but I have to guess that this is true because we talked about blood flow. You're going to get blood flow in sprinting and endurance, but you don't get the same muscular changes, the same muscular growth in endurance. If you see distance runners, they're often skinnier than sprinters or less defined muscularly. And so I would have to assume that that's why you see this big difference in this delta between growth hormones between sprinters and endurance runners
once using the same workout, which in case you didn't catch that means a person that has a history of sprint training will get more benefits from a sprint workout than someone who doesn't. Even 1 hour post exercise, GH levels remain 10 times higher than baseline in sprint trained athletes, indicating prolonged hormone activity after maximal sprinting. Endurance trained athletes also experience elevated GH levels post-sprint, but the magnitude and duration of the response were significantly lower compared to sprint trained athletes. 6, improved range of motion and resilience. Sprinting moves your muscles and joints through their full range of motion at very high speeds. This builds resilience and reduces the risk of injury. Injury happens when your body moves into a position that your body is unprepared for. Obviously, the list goes on and on. Other benefits includes reduced anxiety and lower cortisol levels, improved protein synthesis, hypertrophy, improved heart health, increased metabolism, and so much more. As great as these benefits may sound, we know that most individuals have serious concerns about sprinting. For example, concern number 1, I'm not in shape for sprinting. This is exactly why you need it. Unlike other exercises, sprinting exposes every weakness, whether it's strength, mobility, or stability problems, and then ignore them and wait until they lead to do. And losing this ability is an early sign of declining physical health.
Actually, the reason that they should sprint, for instance, people think, oh, I'm going to hurt my knees. Oh, you are, if I will. And
a safe progression to get started that minimizes injury risk and maximizes joint health. Concern number 3, I don't have access, minimizes. Later in this video, we'll show you a safe progression to get started that minimizes.
Look at how even though this athlete is going, I don't know, 30%, they have proper form. They're not just jogging. They're maintaining their sprint form even at this low
injury
percentage.
risk and maximizes joint health. Concern number.
What do I mean? He's not having an aggressive back kick. He's not lazy. Head up to the sky is always being pulled from a string.
Get started that
dorsiflexion. Dorsiflexion and this leg that's pushing off the ground isn't going to just cycle back up to his butt. It's actually going to step over his other ankle or shin. Right, he's kind of stepping over his shin, almost
joint
knee.
health. Concern number 3, I don't have access to a track. You don't need a track if you're ever needing a track.
and the ability to quality of life.
Sprint pain-free, you've validated that your body is in top physical shape. Plus, look at the body of a distance runner, then look at the body of a sprinting that you should get to a point where you can sprint and sprint never be the same.
Walk, jog, run. If you're confused, or if you think you're at risk, walk, jog,
Again.
run.
Now, let's talk about how you
Crawl,
can get
walk,
started
jog, run.
regardless of where you're at right now. Tip number 1, we recommend sprinting on grass most of the time. Even the world's fastest man, Usain Bolt, frequently sprinted on grass to protect his body.
Train on the grass track, and then we go on the chevron. You can't train on the chevron 24/7. Then you start have shin problems.
Tip number 2.
Okay, so what Sprint Project is saying, what Usain's saying is you can't sprint on the track every day. You need to sprint on the grass sometimes. You definitely don't really want to be sprinting on concrete, although if you have to do hill, it's not going to kill you. It's just you don't want to be doing that, more than once a week. You don't want to do it in spikes. You want to do it in flats. And I give a grade. I have this grade. One of my favorite shorts that I've done, to be honest, is the effects of the different surfaces on a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball. If you take a tennis ball and you bounce it on the concrete, it's going to bounce well enough, like a tennis ball should. If you take it and put it on the grass, the bouncing effect will be diminished significantly from the concrete. It's because the grass absorbs some of that force and doesn't return it all back to the ball. And the same is going to happen to our body. And then this kind of happy medium is the track, where the lacrosse ball may not bounce as much, or the tennis ball may not bounce as much off the track as it does on the concrete, but it'll bounce way better than the grass. And the idea of training on different surfaces is you don't constantly want the force sending it back through your body and that aggressive impact that concrete may have, or even that the track may have in track spikes. Occasionally you want to work on things with soft impact, right? This is why we play American football on the grass or soccer on the grass, is because when you fall, you don't want the force returning back to your body. You want the ground absorbing it to protect you in your fall. And so Usain here is doing sled pulls on the grass, not something where he's worried about, top end speed or anything like that. He's trying to get strong. He wants to work on putting power into the track, powerful steps, gaining distance, increasing stride length, all these things, which can be done on the grass with the sled.
You can't train on the chevron 24/7. Then you start have shin problems.
Tip number 2, if you can't sprint yet, do sprint drills. Sprint drills will help you build the foundation you need to sprint. These exercises
Noah Lyle's video on his warm-up is amazing as far as sprint drills
improve your
concerned.
coordination, balance, and strength necessary to do actual sprints. Practice holding an A-step position. One knee up, one leg each time. Front to the drills while moving.
Progress safely.
Pistols and a board. Always sprint before you lift. Sprinting requires fresh muscles and a fully charged nervous system. So
I get people all the time that come to me after basketball practice, after soccer practice, after weight training, and they want to do a lactate workout or they want to do a sprint workout. And it's like, that's not really how it works. Because I'm not even going to get one good set out of you, but you want to ask for a high quality workout. That's not how that happens. That will lead you to injury or it'll lead you to fatigue.
best to do a 3-day routine. Wednesday and lift on Friday. This setup allows you to maintain high speed during sprints while still benefiting from strength gains and hypertrophy.
I don't know that schedule works for me, but it's not bad. You got to pick and choose. You have to figure it out. Like during the off season, I may be lifting 4 days a week and running 3 days, never in spikes, usually on the grass, not on the track. And then, preseason, early season, maybe I cut my weight training down to 3 times a week. And then in season, I might cut it down to twice a week. That's a little bit how I operate, but I have a background in weightlifting. I understand what I'm doing. And I have experimented with doing too much. So what I do like about this is you're not at risk of doing it too much if you are lifting twice a week, as far as I'm concerned. Train speed. Let's hear what they have to say about
At least
this.
one time per week. That's all it takes.
Once a week? You can't do that once a week? Are you serious? Like, what do you expect once a week?
and continue with what you are free. This is my
Okay. Train speed once a week. I maybe take it a little further than that. I won't train. I don't jog. It's just not something I enjoy doing. It doesn't help my sprinting or jumping or what I'm interested in. Instead, I might go play basketball. I might play some football. I'm still going to do explosive things. I'll ride a bike. I'll swim. But yeah. Okay. Very good. Very helpful. Once again, go check out Sprint Project on YouTube. Let's keep moving. Here we have, let me set it up for you. Here we have knees over toes. Jump balance, a skill for life. Knees over toes guy. Knees over toes is one of those people where when I found them, I'm definitely subscribed. I don't know why it's saying this, but when I found them, it was one of those things that instantly made sense. It was a little bit of a different approach as far as weightlifting is concerned. But when I heard it, it intuitively made sense to me. So anytime that happens, I tend to listen to those people. So let's see what he has to say.
Research from soccer and long jump may help explain. Research from soccer and long jump may help explain.
Long jump.
Research from.
Okay. So if you see here in this left, let me make it big. In the left side of our screen, you have this knee that's incoming onto the screen. Now that's a good knee for a long jump, right? Oh, they want to start us over.
Jump. Research right leg soccer and.
What I don't like. Well, I don't know what phase. Look at his arm is down. Not quite sure what point of the jump the arm goes down. But if he is in this pose in the air, which I call chair pose, this other knee should be even with this knee. Hands should be in the air.
Soccer.
And he should reach for his feet. Right now he needs to extend. You see how those heels are facing the sand? Those heels need to be facing those trees in front. His left hand is back as well. Needs to be up. He needs to be able to, a good cue I tell my jumper is to be able to see your feet together in front of you and reach for them. Now I know he's not doing a long jump for the form of it, but I just figured I'd hop in and tell you that's 1 second into the video, so can't judge him too much.
Long jump may help explain why I coach jump balance, meaning jumping off right leg, left, right, left, right. In soccer, they found that your plant leg and your kicking leg have different knee stability, making you more likely to have knee injury. And in long jump, they found that having a group practice off the non-jumping leg led to them jumping even farther than the group that just practiced off their jumping leg. Now, I'm only advising this really simply. Once a week, I work on a few reps, right leg, left, right, left, right. I also apply this concept by doing a few sets.
Now, why is this the case? Let's go over it. It has a very logical reason.
Soccer and long jump.
And that's why
why I coach jump balance, meaning jumping off.
Tell my jumpers, doesn't matter what leg you jump off of. I don't care if you play soccer and kick with your right leg. It doesn't mean your right leg is the right leg, the correct leg that you should be jumping off of. And that's because of what's called our penultimate step, or
right
even
leg,
a gather step.
Right.
Okay, so it's easier to see when he does off 2 feet, but you do this similar off of 1 foot.
Why I coach jump balance, meaning jumping off.
So the opposite leg that you're using is actually just as important as your takeoff leg. It's the penultimate step. It sets you up. It transitions your speed into height. Again,
right
tough
leg.
To see in these videos. There will be jump videos where I can explain this more in depth, but
leg right.
Off 2 is so. Here you see his right foot's coming down. It's like acting as a break. His left foot will come even, and then he will jump up to go for the dunk. Now this is again, it's just a gather step. And that's why they're both important. It takes a lot of force. I jump off my left leg because of basketball, actually, because of doing layups. And it's just because of how important that penultimate step is. You need to put force into both of those, which is why jump balance is a great skill for life. So kudos to him.
Right, left.
Of course, you would
left, right. In soccer, they found that your plant leg left leg. Now, I'm only advising this really simply. Once a week, I work on a few reps, right leg, left, right, left, right. I also apply this concept by doing a few sets at extremely gentle levels. Never.
Look at that lunge. This is what I mean by knee behind glutes. This is an excellent running drill. The one thing I will say is this is great for his knees, but knees over toes. No, of course, you don't get this position when you're running. That foot you want, that knee that's in front, you want closer at 90. I mean, you don't get this back stretch either in running. But yeah, I'll stop.
Work through pain. Now have more knee ability than the norm. And my overall and slow squatting strength. I reached my 20s having never dunked, thinking I never would, thinking I had bad knees. And also the hamstring.
If you're not doing Nordic curls, you need to.
And slow squatting strength. I then balance
These
the
are Nordic
hamstrings
curls
to the quads. So my overall strategy is just to take that intention of what you want and then balance. Now I'm able to use that to help other people. My mom wants to run until she's 100. She's been doing this 7 years.
That's
She
great,
turned 71 this week. Her fundamentals also going backward and training low.
Okay, if you haven't checked out knees over toes, I highly suggest it. Let's go ahead and get moving. We are going to be reviewing some of my athletes' film. Now, let me just... I will spend more time with this later. And if you're interested in getting your own film review, that's something we can set up. Okay. Let's see, shall we? One second, guys. Just getting, how do I do this? Here we are. Okay. So, let's see. How do I, oh, here we go. Okay, so this is my athlete. He's a 400 runner. He's a basketball guy, and we're working on a few things with him. So if you see, he collapses when his ankles are his weak point. Okay, he collapses when he hits the track. Okay, let me do a better intro just in case I make this a short segment. Okay, so I ran for over 20 years. I've coached for over 10 years. And one of the things that I enjoy is working with someone one-on-one and really helping them develop their skills. Now, this young athlete, when he came to me, he wasn't sure what he wanted to do. He's a basketball guy. He actually has characteristics that would be a great middle distance runner. 400, maybe 800, 1600 more likely. But in hopes to help him with basketball, which is a quite explosive sport, we decided to stick on the 400 for now. I believe I improved his time I worked with him to improve his time. I don't remember, definitely sub or above 60. What do we want to call it? Maybe 67 or so. And now he's at 59. We still have much more to go. Okay, so in this drill, I'm having him start out in a jog and slowly increase his speed, almost like a build-up. I'm having him go at, I believe, 70% of max speed because we're really working on form here. And our form should be correct, whether it's at 30%, 20%, 50, 70, 90, 100%. The form should be the same because we never want to practice a jogging form. Now, when I increase his speed, he's going to have trouble maintaining his form. That's natural because you haven't done enough reps at 80%. You haven't done enough reps at 85%. You haven't done enough. So when you go to 100, you keep on some of the things that we worked on, but really everything goes out the window. You're just trying to sprint. That's normal. That's fine. We still have more work to do. So I believe this one is, again, maybe 60% of his max speed, 70% of his max speed. So let's go ahead and back that up. Okay, so one of the things he has to work on is his ankles. He loses a lot in his ankles, and it used to be worse than this. So he's made great progress. But if you look, he's not stiff in his ankle. He's collapsing. The foot is once it hits, there's no stiffness there. It just collapses. And then as a result, his whole body collapses. And you see how he's not elevating off the track, right? He's almost catching himself. He's not really jumping from foot to foot. It's okay. His arms are decent, at least. Okay. So let's go ahead. That was the first one. And if I remember correctly, I like to just see you do stuff a couple times first before I give you advice. And on that one, I'm not sure that I gave him much advice. Okay, let's see this next one. This is the next one. Not so bad as far as ankle. That one was bad. Look at that. Look at that foot just completely flat. Left foot seems to be a bit better. Now, he is a basketball player, as I said. He has had some ankle injuries. Nice arms. Knee lift, not bad. But he's hitting a little bit in front of himself there, you see? And that's because of the way that he's pushing off. Well, he's not pushing off the ground. We know that because his ankle is collapsing. Okay, let's go to the next one here. Okay, let's see this one. Now, this one already looks better. If you notice, he's not waiting for the track anymore. Look at that, cycling under his hips. So we clearly had some sort of discussion in between the last one that he did and this one that he did. This is much better. Cycling back underneath himself. And look at how much more distance he's gaining. I'm gonna bring up the first one again. See if we can see a little bit of gain here. Okay, so this is the first one. Now look, he's just this foot comes up and it doesn't cycle back. It's just waiting on him to land, collapsing. Now let's see this one. Much better, much better. Jumping. Gaining more distance. Let's see, the foot is not as collapsed. Look at that. Sure, it does come all the way down to the track. But he's pulling through already. He's not. Good, I like those better. Now I asked him to turn it up a notch, or did I? Let's see what this one looks like. Okay. Now I was just getting comfortable. Look at it, cycling back underneath him again. Look how much taller he is here. Okay. Let's see if you can see. So he actually look at how much shorter he looks at the end of this run than when he's running. A significant difference there. Again, for all the reasons that we talked about, he's able to strike under his hips because he's pushing off the ground better it's like chicken and egg. It's like, is he cycling under and that's what's making him push harder, or is he pushing harder and this is making him cycle under? It's yes, and it's both, right? This was at the end of one of our workouts. We had a day where he wasn't able to do as much as I would like him to. So we just had to keep it short. Give me all the quality you can. Now this, I believe I told him to turn it up a notch. Good. As far as, good. Now push, drive your foot underneath you. Yeah. So you heard me tell him to push, drive your foot underneath you. Push, drive it underneath you. That one was a little bit weak. Did you see that? That was not as good as this one. Boom. Look at the distance he just covered off of that step. And then look at the difference in the distance covered off of that step. That was a bad one. That right foot, that was good. I think he has a right foot. Right foot. That one's bad again. That one's good. So we got to even that up somehow with him as I continue to work with him. His name is Brandon Yu. Shout out Brandon. He has a YouTube channel as well about cubing. My connection went out. He's a speed cuber. So go check him out. I believe it's called the U Cuber, YOO Cuber, CUBER. Okay. So we're going to end now, which I will turn this into a video for us. Is my internet connection out? You guys let me know if you can't see me or hear me, hopefully. I know what I need to do. Okay, that's for next time. We're going to end now with the 5 reasons why you may be slow. So let me shoot this intro because I'm going to turn it into a video. Same thing I've said before, right? I've run track for 20 years. I've coached for over 10 years, and these are 5 of the. Okay, here we go again. You guys are seeing me live shoot an intro. This is pretty cool. I've run track for over 20 years. I've coached for over 10 years, and these are 5 of the most common reasons why you might be slow. Okay, first and foremost are our arms. I see this all the time where our arms are not swinging the way that they're supposed to be. There's a huge difference from how we use our arms in soccer, basketball, baseball, football, whatever it may be, and track. I see it all the time. Soccer people have soccer arms. They stay up here, or they do the cheek pocket is another common thing that we do. We want to be swinging our arms all the way through our hips, just like the professionals do. Let's go ahead, and if you're ever confused about what your arms should look like, what you want to do is just find a professional, find a still shot of them using their arms where they're running full speed. Tough to find this guy full shot because he likes to celebrate early. But here we have Usain. Look at his left arm is swinging all the way through his hips. Look how many poses of him, how many pictures of him posing. That's dope. But we found the one picture we needed, which is of him running. And you see his arm, left arm, all the way back through his hips, still at this, 90, not very rigid 90, and the other arm swinging all the way through. Okay, so got to use our arms efficiently. That's tip number 1. No more cheek pocket. Swing your arms all the way through. Another tip is imagine that you have a hammer and you need to nail something behind you. You swing it with force behind, and then same thing in front. You want to swing it back up this way. A pro tip for this is you can do arm swings in the mirror, whether you're standing or seating. The way you know you're swinging your arms correctly with the proper amount of force is if your body wants to move forward If you're swinging your arms, you're doing your arm swings for practice, and you're just stagnant, and there's no momentum being generated behind you, pushing you forward, they're not strong enough. They're not powerful enough. When I swing my arms, as I'm swinging them, I want to be feeling like I need to be moving forward. That's how I know I'm doing them correctly. And if you notice, this is another great thing that is in Huberman's video, which I covered. When I swing my arms, I'm not strictly parallel. My shoulders actually do get this undulation, this movement of rotation, because we're not linear species. We rotate back and forth. And if you think about how we're putting force into the track, you don't want it to be the best way to create force is with rotation, is with a long lever and rotate it, which is why you use a screwdriver instead of a hammer and a nail when you really need to burrow into something. And it's the same when your foot hits the track, it's actually going to rotate just a little bit. Same with our shoulders, same with our arms. You don't want to be swinging. It's not what I'm saying, but you don't want to be super parallel like a robot. And that takes us into tip number 2, which is knees and hips. One of the more common problems I see is, yes, our hips are not mobile enough and they're not strong enough. And the knees do not come high enough, but not for the purpose of lifting our knees, but it is for the purpose of jumping from foot to foot in repetitive motion. I tell people all the time, sprinting is jumping really fast. It's a series of jumps repeated over and over and over as fast as you can. And one way to do that, if you've ever jumped before, is knee drive is what sends you forward and out. But not just for the sake of knee drive, right? So let's think about this. We want the leg to cycle through automatically on its own. You want it to be like a chain reaction. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And the action of knee drive doesn't come from pulling our knees up. It actually comes from putting force into the track. So when I'm sprinting correctly and I'm putting the proper amount of force into the track, that knee cycles through on its own and it automatically comes up. As long as I have dorsiflexion, as long as my arms are in the right place, it'll happen on its own. That's one of the big things is people are rushing to get their knee up, but then they're not taking their time and being patient, putting their knee on the track to create force moving forward. Excuse me. People don't realize that the knee drive doesn't come from you actively trying to lift your knees. It comes from putting force into the track. And with that being said, we don't want to get stuck on the track. You don't want to be heavy. You want to think about it as running on top of the track, not inside the track. Another way to think about it is you want to slice the track with your foot that's coming down, not stab. So you want to be slicing motion and it cycles back through. But you still need to be patient in terms of pushing off the track. That is what's going to create that knee drive that you're missing, that you're looking for. Okay. Tip number 3, I see this all the time, especially with my high school athletes, is doing the warm-up just to get warm. I know this sounds counterintuitive. It is a warm-up, but our goal in addition to getting warm is practicing the right fundamentals. One person who does this excellent is Noah Lyles. When you see Noah Lyles warm up, you begin to understand why he is what he is, which is an Olympic champion. Everything he does in his warm-up is intentional. It's with the same form he uses when he's running. And, if I had to guess, he spends an hour warming up. He does bands before, he gets massages, he does, then he goes through his proper warm-up. He's never caught jogging. So all these things add up, right? When you get through your warm-up, you don't want to be, it shouldn't take 15 minutes. It's not long enough. You shouldn't have sprinted 0 times before you begin your sprinting workout. You should be doing build-ups. You should be doing some overspeed drills. And if you don't know how to do this, Noah Lyles actually is a great resource. He has a great channel that helps lead you through it. But if your warm-up isn't 30 minutes long, where you're beginning to sweat, then you haven't warmed up well enough. I see it all the time. People do stretches, they do high knees, and then they're good to go. On top of that, they have shorts and a t-shirt on, and it's 60 degrees. Go watch the professionals. They have sweats, they have a top on, even when it's hot. They do their full warm up. They get some block starts in on like the practice track. They've done build-ups. When they get onto the track, you only have 10, 11 seconds in the 100. You only have 20, 21 seconds, 22 seconds in the 2. You only have 50, 51 in the 4. That's not enough time to come lukewarm. You have to be warm when you step on the track. Okay, that's tip number 3. Common reason why you're slow, number 4. And this is the biggest reason. If I didn't say it before, make sure you stay for this and the next reason. If you are enjoying this, go ahead and like and subscribe for me, please. That really helps the algorithm figure out who to serve this to and to help them know that this is good content. But tip number 4 is inconsistency in training. I can't tell you how many people come to me with 2 weeks left in the season, or they come to me after basketball, soccer practice, or they take a week off, they come back, train for a week, they take a week off, they come back, they have a track meet, and they go, "What happened?" Well, you only train 1 week out of the month. You only train 2 weeks out of the month. That's not how you get great. That's not how you improve in anything, whether it's sports or academics or work or whatever it is. Showing up part-time isn't going to cut it. So that surprisingly, I have to put that in here. It's just because it's not only the inconsistency in schedule of training, it's the inconsistency in intensity of training. And that doesn't mean intensity as in every day has to be 100% speed. That means when you're at the track, you shouldn't be focused on what's going on Instagram. Hey, Dean Maxer, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. I'm at the end of ending the live here with 5 reasons why you may be slow, and not you in particular. I'm just going over reasons that I've found from my athletes as far as why they struggle. In case the first one was arms. The second one was how to get your knees and hips in the correct position, and as a result of pushing off of the track correctly, doing a proper warm up. And the fourth one that we just covered was inconsistency in training. So good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I know it's at an awkward-ish time. I just have a super busy week coming up, so I wanted to get you something rather than nothing. But good to see you. Is that a Giga Chad as your PFP there, Dean Maxer? If that is indeed a Giga Chad, that's dope. Okay. What events do you do? Hi, bro. I wanted to get started in track. I'm 15 years old. Do you think I have a future? 15 years old is a great time to get involved. You're a sophomore in high school, freshman. What events do you do? How long have you been running? You're doing the right things, which is looking for help and resources on YouTube. YouTube is excellent. There's okay sources and there's great sources. I would recommend that you watch this back. I went over some great sources for you. Okay. Going back to tip number 4, which is inconsistency is training. It's not just from India. Hey, hello from India. What's up? Thank you for coming. It's not just inconsistency in schedule, but it's inconsistency in focus. I have athletes that will be at track practice, but meanwhile they're waiting for track to end so they can go to soccer practice. That happens all the time, and that's just going to cut it. You're going to get to the meet. You're going to want to do well, but meanwhile you haven't trained that way, and what we do in training will show up in the meet. And that brings me to my final point, which is improper training. Jogging won't make you faster. Lifting weights won't make you faster. I'm not mistaken when I said lifting weights alone won't make you faster. There is no weight program that is going to make you speedy, fast. It can help, but it is not going to be the thing. So, I don't care what you squat or what you lunge or what you bench. You have to get on the field. You have to get on the track and you have to sprint. It's the only way. And then going for jogs. Jogging is not beneficial sprinting. It's completely different form. It's completely different mechanic. So, if you are interested in receiving proper training, I will have a link below to my training courses. And there's tons of resources on how to train efficiently, what time of the season to be on grass, what time of the season to be doing 300s, what time of the season to be doing 150s, to be doing plyometrics, all that kind of thing. Many resources you can find, and of course, I'm here to be a resource for you. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. How can I find out which track is better for me? What do you mean, like which events are better for you, Dean? I'm not quite sure I understand the question. Which track is better for me? I think you mean which events are better for you. Meters, how many? Okay. Well, there's a few ways to figure that out, or 800 or 1500. I mean, my advice for that would be, so Deem asks, how can I find out which event is better for me, the 800 or the 1500? The real answer is to run them both and see how you place, see how well you do in your area. No problem, Dean. I got you. I understand. Sign up for both events and see which one you do better in. There are some proclivities that people have that will, there are some characteristics and traits of the person. So, Dean, if I saw you running or learn more about your story, I would be able to help you out a bit more. Some people are just sprinters. Some people are just distance people. Some people are mid distance. And some people are a Swiss Army knife that can do a lot of events fairly well. So my advice to you, Dean, without knowing much of your story, is to sign up for the 800 one meet, sign up for the 1500 a different meet, give it your best shot, see how you rank within your region, and go from there. The good thing about the 800 and 1500 is the training isn't too dissimilar. 800 will require more speed, 1500 will require a bit more speed endurance, a bit more strength, but the training should be somewhat similar for both. So I'm not sure if that helps you there. Helps you out at all. Okay. So, that's my closer for the 5 reasons why you may be slow. So I hope that helps you on your journey. You can avoid making mistakes that other people made. If you do like this, go ahead and if you found value in this, like and subscribe so I can put out more content just like it. No problem, Dean. I hope you, again, there's a few resources for you out there. You're doing what you're supposed to as far as hopping online and figuring out, asking for help from people. You'll figure it out at 15. You have time. What track do you use? I specialize in the short sprints, the 100, 200, 400, and the horizontal jumps, the long jump and the triple jump. The long jump was actually my main event. What are your awards? I attended university to compete on a full ride scholarship. I run state for California, which is pretty big as a high schooler. I was ranked nationally, I think every year that I competed, I was ranked within the top 10 of the United States up until college, where I had an interesting experience as far as coaching, as far as figuring this. College is college. I did not go to the best athletic college, despite the fact that I had the opportunity to choose whatever college I went to. I chose a academic college over an athletic college, and I'm happy with that choice. But it did not fare so well in terms of my athletic career. But life goes. Now I'm here to help you guys out. So that was I made the NC2A finals, where I was injured, of course. And I did a little semi-pro stuff. Nothing of note, just battling injuries and illness, actually, that took me out of track. So that's fine. Sure, go ahead and to message me. Just comment on one of my videos and we can try to have discourse. I'm working on creating a community that's like Discord or no, I don't think you're late, Dean. I think at 15, you're figuring it out. You don't have much time. I mean, I don't know how it is in India. Are you preparing for university at 15 or, I think you still have time. I think you do need to start focusing as far as if track is your thing, living in Saudi. Okay, no problem. Is university or college, secondary school what you're looking for, or you're just looking to compete now where you are, which we call high school. I'm not sure what you call it, but it's high school for us is high school right now. Yeah, it's a great time to explore. Are you first year high school, second year high school? How many more years do you have? Grade 11. And you leave school at grade 12? First year. Okay, got you. Yeah, that's right. I know it's different than we have in the US. 12th grade class. Yeah, Dean, I would say for this track season, get any chance you have to run an 8 or 15 or 15, run them both. And at the end of this season, reassess and figure out which one you're better in and focus on that for next season. That would be my advice because you don't have too much time. It's not too late. It's never, especially right now. So that's what I would do if I were you, and figure it out as you go. You'll figure it out fairly quickly as far as what events you should do. Okay, does that sound good? I have a training plan. I have a training plan. My training plan is for short sprinters. So it won't help you so much in the 800, and it most likely won't help you in the 1500. I have faith in myself to be able to develop a middle distance training plan just because I've been around the sport long enough. I understand what I'm doing, but I feel so comfortable charging you for it just because it's not really my specialty. And there's a lot of difference. 400 and 800. Yeah, you can definitely try that. Long jump, I am quite, what do I say, skilled in as an athlete and coaching, as well as the short sprints again. My 400 time in high school was 47.2. So I'm very comfortable in the 4. The 8, I've never run in a meet before. I have a speed endurance program in the link in the description that may be suited for you. It's a 12-week program. I don't know how long your season is. I don't know that you have 12 weeks. But you can always figure out how to cut it shorter. What I can do, Deem, is if you do buy one of our programs or buy a different program, if you hop back on another one of my lives in the future, I can help you. Or if you buy my program, it's right now it's through this place called Udemy, which you can ask me questions, as many questions as you'd like through that service. Again, I am working on a different style service that's more community based for you. I'm doing my best. I am doing my best to go live every day. I have tomorrow. I am headed out of town for a track meet. Sunday, I will be back to hop on live again. Let me see. Hold on, Dean. Don't go anywhere. Let me see what. Let me see if I know any. Oh yeah. No, that's not him. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out if there's an 800-meter channel that's good for you to watch. I don't know too many of them. Oh, there you go. Okay, so Dean, I appreciate it. I am going to be on live much more. It's track season for me, so it's tough, which is why I'm on at this time right now, which is somewhat unfavorable to the US, but apparently it's good for you in India, which is great. I want you to. There's an athlete named Nick Simmons. You can check out some of his stuff. I'm gonna put it in a comment. Go watch this video. He is an Olympian 800-meter runner, and he has an excellent YouTube channel. It's not all about like technical running aspects, but you can learn a lot from his YouTube channel if you are a middle distance runner. I'll just put that in the chat for you. Okay, sound good? Like I said, I'm going to be on much more lives, answering questions and going over. No problem. Go ahead and when I end this, maybe there's some tips throughout that can help you out. I don't know how much you caught or how much you missed, but if you missed some, check it out. Yeah, no problem. He's a great. He's excellent. He's again, he's Olympian. I enjoyed watching him run when he was competing, and I enjoy watching his YouTube channel as well. So hopefully you find some benefit in it as well. Maybe I need to review some of his videos also. But cool. So shout out to Dean from India for showing up. I'm gonna hop off now, get ready for my own IRL practice with my athletes. I'll keep coming to you guys with content. I'll break this down, get some videos on demand for you so you can review them more easy. Okay. If you did enjoy this, if you found value, make sure you like and subscribe. I'm gonna do my best to go back live on Sunday. I don't know what time yet, but check my community posts. I'll try to time my live in my community posts. Okay. Thanks everybody. See you next time. Wheels up. No problem, Dean. See you, brother. Good luck out there. Good. Just show up every day, put in the work, and you'll do well. Keep your training to like 4 or 5 days a week. Yeah. Okay. See you.